We're going to get a view from Brussels now on this story, and for that we can cross to France 24's Pierre Benazet. Pierre, the Mercosur deal has been a point of contention for years, but on Wednesday the European Commission presented ministers with a series of concessions aimed at diffusing this resistance to the accord.
Yes, quite, and rather a big number of them if you count. There were, sorry for that, there were 6 measures that were discussed and debated yesterday between the 27 agriculture ministers and the EU Commission, which exceptionally had itself set this meeting to take place because it's usually the purview of the rotating EU presidency. And the Commission wanted to reassure the opponents to the treaty that everything was to be taken very seriously. All their concerns were going to be taken very seriously. There are mainly 4 measures that are going to apply to the treaty as it stands. First, the French decision to suspend pesticides or residues of pesticides in imports from Mercosur are going to be partially approved. That's one thing, and that was aimed to obviously assuage the French protesters' concerns and the French government's preoccupations, obviously. But there is also a promise to effect more controls on imports, also to put in place safeguard measures which are going to take effect, a kind of a backstop, if you will, which would take effect if the European market is affected by a too big number of Mercosur imports. And also there would be the 2 additional measures, which are on the one part the carbon border mechanism, that is the carbon tax at the EU borders, where the fertilizers would be suspended from the effects of that tax in order to help farmers buy them, obviously. And the last one is a promise made especially to Italy's Giorgia Meloni, which is to raise the CAP budget, the Common Agricultural Policy budget, which is going to be starting from 28 onwards, and already 45 billion euros are going to be disbursed in order to help farmers in the years in between.
Right, and this has paved the way for an approval of the deal, seeming to provoke a major shift from Italy, as you mentioned, with a vote happening as soon as tomorrow.
Yes, there is possibly a vote taking place tomorrow morning. There is a meeting of the highest-ranking national officials here in Brussels, the 27 permanent representatives, the ambassadors from the 27 capitals. They are set to debate the Mercosur deal. A vote could be taking place. The decision could last 24 hours, so we won't have a definite answer before Saturday. But obviously, we know that the French still have to decide. But Italy's Giorgia Meloni and officials as well in Italy have said that this deal is, quoting, enormously advantageous for the Italian industry and farmers. So Italy, who had managed to push back at the vote at the European summit in December, is now set to vote in favor of it, which means that the blocking minority that was very effective in December is going to vanish, it seems, which paves the way for an approval of the signature of the treaty. We know that the European Commission wants to go to Paraguay on January 12 in order to sign this treaty. Afterwards, there would be obviously adjustments between the European Parliament and the European Council. All that remains to be seen is the political stance that France is going to choose. Is it going to abstain, or is it going to vote against this treaty in order to prove that it still stands by its farmers and agricultures? That remains to be seen, but it would be a very difficult decision for the French to take, and it's obviously going to be taken, this decision, by the head of state, Emmanuel Macron, because it's a very touchy and political topic for the French within the European Union. And the other thing that remains to be said is that the European Commission says that this deal with Mercosur would be a proof that the new Don Road doctrine, as Donald Trump puts it, is not going to be working with not going to be affecting the relations between Europe and South America, which is a new point that the European Commission is making in favor in order to push this deal.
All right, Pierre Benazet, thank you very much for your reporting from Brussels.